I'm Chris Godinez, licensed professional counselor, also the host of We Need to Talk on every Sunday at noon, which I then post up to Facebook. This video is for educational and informational purposes only. If you feel you need a therapist, please go to Google, type in therapy, your city, Psychology Today will pop up, click on that, and it will have all of the therapists in your area. Also, the views and opinions stated herein are mine and mine alone. They do not represent the ACA, the APA, or any other damn therapist for that matter. Boom, shakalaka, done. Okay, let's get some of this stuff out of the way. This is going to be like the second part of the inner child stuff that I did this weekend, because there was a ton more questions that I did not have a chance to get to. So first of all, let me get through some of the announcements. All right, I am going to be touring, guys. I'm going to be the first week in California. So February 2nd is San Diego. February 3rd is Irvine. February 4th is Santa Monica. February 6th is Santa Barbara. February 7th is San Luis Obispo. February 8th is San Jose. February 10th is San Francisco. February 12th is Sacramento. March 23rd, not the 22nd, the 23rd. I misspoke on the other video. It's March 23rd is New Orleans. And then we have the cruise December 4th going to the Bahamas. So if you want to come hang out with me, do some karaoke, I will survive. Gloria Gaynor's definitely going to be on that list. And, you know, get some lessons and learn how to protect yourself and how to work with the inner child and all of that sort of good stuff. Come hang out with me on the cruise December 4th going to the Bahamas. All of this information will be up on Eventbrite. Mercury Eventbrite. So it's Mercury, M-U-R-C-U-R-I, Mercury Eventbrite. That is where you want to go. And that will have all of this information up there. Also, there is limited space, guys. I cannot guarantee you a spot. If you do not sign up now, I cannot guarantee you a spot. So, because people are like, well, are there going to be spots? And I'm like, you know, we got limited space, so you got to get your tickets. So space is going. So if you're going to come see me in California, sign up now. If you're going to go on the cruise, sign up now. I already have people signing up for New Orleans. So if you're going to go to New Orleans, sign up now. So, okay, there that is. Also, to let you know, I will be giving out copies of my books. I will be giving out copies of You Can Lead a Horse to Water, but You Can't Make Him Cha-Cha, and I will sign them for you, both of them, and What's Wrong with Your Dad. When I run out of the What's Wrong with Your Dad ones, I will be giving out, oh, these lovely mugs. There you go. They're also available on eBay. These guys are available on Amazon and Kindle and Audible. So, and I do the narration for them, so you get to hear me read these books. So, and I also have a very talented voice actor on this one. So anyway, that's it. There's that. All right, let's hit the questions, shall we? All right, let me get out of here. Let me go over there. Aha. Okay. Would it help the inner child if you spoke to a photo of yourself as a child instead of a mirror? Yes, I think it would. You know, not everybody's able to visualize, okay? You know, some people have a really hard time visualizing themselves as a child or visualizing in general. Not everybody is visual, okay? So, yeah, it would help to look at a picture of yourself as a child and do that. So, yes, you can work on the inner child that way. Also, if you want to work on compassion, and this is what I did with my dad, and this will not work for everybody, so I'm just warning you right now. Don't expect it to be a miracle, because it's not, and not everybody can do it. But what I did with my dad is I looked at pictures of him as a baby, and I was able to have compassion for that soul because I could see they were innocent at one point in time, and then they made choices that were stupid, you know, but I have compassion for him. Do I ever want to be around him in this or any other lifetime? No, I don't. So there's the difference between compassion and idiot compassion. So Pema Chodron, who is the American Buddhist nun, speaks about idiot compassion. Idiot compassion is where you forgive the person and then continue and have compassion for them and then continue to allow them in your life to harm you. No, 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 no. You can love somebody from afar. So if somebody is abusive, you can have compassion for them. You can see, wow, they're really fucked up. It sucks to be them. Don't want to be around them. But you do not have to be around them. So you can have compassion for them and love them from afar. You do not have to have them in your life. That is the big thing. So sometimes looking at baby pictures will help you for the compassion for yourself, and they also can help you for the compassion for, you know, letting go of the abuser. Letting it go, letting it go. Because remember, anger is a great way to continue to hang on to somebody. Once you let go of the anger, you're done. You're done. There's nothing. There's nothing. And you're really, truly cut loose from the abuser. So anger is a way to keep that person alive. Anger is a way to keep that person connected to us. So if you can get to the compassion and love them from afar and wish them well, that's good. Okay, so there is that. This went really dark all of a sudden. I don't know why. Ew, no, I don't like that. Ooh, I'm just going to put this blind down. Okay, there we go. Okay, where was I? Okay, so that was one question. All right, I know my narc parents screwed me up, and now I blame them, but I don't feel healed either. Where am I going wrong? What is the relationship between blaming and healing? Okay, so here's the thing. There's a huge difference between responsibility and blame. There's a huge difference between this person is responsible for this behavior and you did this to me. Okay, one is coming from a victim stance, which is the blaming, and we learn it from our abusers. Look at how our abusers behave. You did this, you did that, you, blame, blame guns, right? So you got 2 fingers pointing out, but 6 fingers pointing back, right? So you want to stay away from the blame. It's like, did they do this to you? Well, yeah, absolutely. And they are responsible for their behavior. Yes, they did these things. They are responsible for it. And now I am responsible for healing myself. You don't heal yourself by going, you did this to me, you did this to me, you. No, that's victim. That's victim. You will stay stuck the rest of your life if you do that. So what you want to do is, yes, it was their responsibility. Yeah, it was their choice. They chose. They chose. Guess what I'm choosing? I'm choosing to be healthy and happy and whole. So therefore, I'm going to work on my self-esteem. I'm going to work on my boundaries. I'm going to work on my self-love. I'm going to work on, fill in the blank. You work on yourself. And do they have responsibility for it? Yeah. And then you give them that responsibility. You put the shame and the blame and the guilt and everything else back on them, and you let them the fuck go. So books to help with that. CPTSD, From Surviving to Thriving by Pete Walker. That is going to be incredibly triggering. So be prepared. Take it in tiny, tiny chunks. CPTSD, From Surviving to Thriving by Pete Walker. The Self-Esteem Workbook, okay, by Glenn Schiraldi. The Inner Child Workbook by Catherine Taylor. Radical Forgiveness by Colin Tipping. Radical Acceptance by Tara Brock. The Disease to Please by Harriet Breaker. All of those books are going to help you. And the whole goal is, are they responsible? Yes, they are responsible. However, what are you going to do with it now? Now what? What's your next step? Has nothing to do with them. It really doesn't. They did what they did. They are responsible. Yes, absolutely. And now, what are you going to do with it? Take your power back. Take your power back. Because every time you go, you did this to me, you did this to me, you did this to me, you are giving away your power. And you are making yourself more and more and more of a victim. And you don't want that. You don't want that. So that's where you're going south in that. You give them the responsibility. Yeah, this is their responsibility. They absolutely were abusive. They absolutely didn't protect me. They absolutely did this. They absolutely did that. What am I going to do now? How am I going to fix that? How am I going to be the best me I possibly can? How can I be the most authentic me I possibly can? How am I working on myself? Am I doing the self-esteem workbook? Am I looking in the mirror and doing the mirror work? How am I making myself better? The best revenge is to live well. Live well. Live well. All right, I hope that answers that question. All right, if someone is shouting or arguing near me, I feel panic and need to run away. While I am healing my inner child, how do I best handle this? Well, that is part of the fight, flight, freeze, or fawn thing. So when we have been abused, depending on what type of abuse it is, we either respond with fight, fighting back, verbally or physically, flight, run the hell away, freeze, oh my God, I don't know what to do with this, or fawn, oh, you know what, let me give you whatever you want so you don't hurt me. Fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. So it is a normal response to danger. So it's your amygdala, okay? So your amygdala is freaking the fuck out, okay? So when the amygdala feels a threat, remember the amygdala, God love it, is stupid. 3 O's, stupid. Cannot tell the difference between a real threat, thought about a real threat, daydreaming about a threat, an emotional threat, thought about an emotional threat, daydreaming about an emotional threat, or some shit that's happened in the past. It can't tell the difference. So when it feels a threat, when a threat goes, zoom, threat, oh my God, somebody's screaming or yelling near me, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. This reminds us of our childhood. Hello, the past. Tells the hippocampus, hypothalamus to release cortisol. Cortisol is our stress hormone. Stress hormone goes, and we go, oh my God, because now we're ready to fight, flight, or I'm getting it backwards. Fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. So that's what the cortisol does, is it gets us ready to do all of that. So when the flight response is in full bloom, you need to breathe. You need to breathe, because if you continue down this road, it's going to lead to a panic attack. So you breathe. And if you need to remove yourself from the situation, remove yourself from the situation. No apologies. It's like, I can't handle yelling right now, you know, and then you just remove yourself from the situation, you know, if you need to do that. If you cannot remove yourself from the situation, let's say you're someplace public and it's really hard to get away from it, or it's really hard to, you know, whatever, you just breathe and you self-soothe. I'm fine. I'm safe. Yes, this is scary. No, I'm fine. Everything's okay. Amygdala, shut the fuck down. Stop it. You know, you just self-soothe, self-soothe, self-soothe. That's what you do. So hope that answers that question. And it's normal. It's absolutely normal. Breathing is the best way to do it. The next best thing to do is, if you have to leave, just leave. You know, it's like, go calm down, and it's okay. And remind yourself you're safe. You're okay. Nobody's going to hurt you. Okay. Can I maintain my relationship with my ill, elderly, but enabling father when I am no contact with a dark triad mom? Ooh. I don't know the situation, so I'm not sure how that would work. Oftentimes, if you've got a dark triad interfering in a relationship with the healthier parent, they will try to keep the healthier parent from seeing you. So you could try. I don't know how that would work. I don't know what the situation is. Hold on a second. I'm not sure what the restrictions are. You know, if you do see him or her, whoever the elderly parent is, then what you want to do is gray rock the abuser, or try to make sure you're there when they're not. You know, if the abusive parent is there, then you want to gray rock, you know, just maintain. When it gets too uncomfortable, you leave. You know, you can try, you know, if that's really what you need to do to feel okay, but be prepared that the abusive parent is not going to be sunshine and roses. So just prepare yourself and protect yourself the best you can. If they become abusive, you leave. You don't put up with it. So, and again, I don't know what the situation is, so I'm not sure how to advise you on that. You can try, but it's going to be very difficult to maintain the contact with the father if the mother is a controlling triad. So you just try to be there when she's not. So, all right. I feel stuck. My kids say things like, I'm done talking about blank, or we already talked about blank. What do I do when my kids push my buttons like this? I'm not entirely sure what you're talking about. I'm not sure if you're talking about older kids, like adult children, or if you're talking about younger kids. I don't quite understand what your question is. If somebody's done talking about something, then that's their way of shutting down the conversation. And if they say we've already talked about this, then they're done talking about it. Not quite sure why that's pushing your buttons, so I would need a little bit more information to kind of help with that question. All right, I learned I had avoidant attachment and now blame myself for the difficult dynamics of my relationship. Did I make things worse when I was afraid of sometimes being vulnerable? So when we have avoidant attachment, we avoid, you know, and we are terrified of, oh my goodness, we are terrified, sorry, my phone just went off. We are terrified of getting attached to somebody because we're terrified of being abandoned, we're terrified of being hurt, we're terrified of being abused, you know, and yeah, so in a healthy, normal relationship, there is no fear, there is no obligation, there is no guilt. There's no fear of intimacy. So when we are avoidant, we're terrified of intimacy, and that definitely hinders a relationship, because in a healthy normal relationship, there is intimacy, emotional intimacy, not just physical intimacy. Anybody can do physical intimacy, but, you know, unless you've got trauma around it, but emotional intimacy, which is something that abusers do not do. So when we've got avoidance stuff, though, we're terrified of intimacy, and so we push it away and we try not to be vulnerable, and that does impact the relationship. So my suggestion would be get with a good therapist and start working on that original wound. You can repair this for yourself. You cannot fix the parent. You can't, but you can fix how you respond when vulnerable situations pop up. So work on that. That would be the most helpful thing to do. Blame is not going to change anything. So stop blaming yourself, but do take responsibility. It's like if you have been avoiding and making things difficult, you own it. You just, you know, clean up in aisle 5. My bad. I did this. Here are the steps I'm taking to rectify it. And this is where people go south, is that they don't take the steps to rectify it. They do the I'm sorry, and then they never change. So if you want to see change, I would strongly suggest getting with a good therapist, working on that original wound, working on what causes that fear of needing to be avoidant kind of thing, and then working on fighting against that instinct when situations of intimacy come up. The behavior has to change. I'm sorry is not going to work, because actions speak louder than words. So if you want to see a real difference, get with a therapist and start working on that. Stop beating yourself up. Start working on the behavior. Figure out where it needs to change. Start changing it. So there's that. Abusers seem to firmly believe in themselves being right. Sorry. Yes, they do. So how do I know I'm not the one flipping reality? How does one know they're not the abuser themselves? Because you're asking the question. Abusers never question. Abusers never question whether they're the abuser. Ever. So here's the thing. Sane, normal people are always the ones going, am I crazy? Did I do the right thing? They're always the one asking that question. Completely batshit crazy motherfuckers, like, you know, I don't know, Adolf Hitler, never question what they're doing. Ever. It's like they're convinced that what they're doing is 110% right. You know, without question, without second guessing. I mean, you know, so abusers never, ever question themselves. If you're sitting there questioning yourself, then you're probably not an abuser. Okay. So yes, abusers absolutely come from the standpoint of they are always 110% right. Nobody is 110% right. I'm never 110% right. I make mistakes and I own up to them, and I own it. If I fuck up, I go, yo, my bad. I fucked that one up. Thank you. You know, it's like, but abusers never do. And so that's how you know you're in the face of an abuser, because abuser has no humility, no ability to kill their ego, no ability to admit that they're wrong, no ability to truly apologize. And a true apology means, I'm sorry, I take responsibility for this. I hurt you. I did it. And I am truly mortified and sorry. And it will never happen again. And then it never happens again, because actions speak louder than words. So you know you're in the face of an abuser if they're like, oh, I'm always right. I'm always right. I'm always right. You're wrong. I'm right. You're wrong. I'm right. Abusers very much live in this circle of right and wrong. So their thinking is just as rigid as any cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs person. So their thinking is all or nothing, good or bad, black or white, I'm right, you're wrong. That's really their thing. And they must win at all costs. And I do mean at all costs. They don't care who the fuck they hurt. They don't care who they damage. They don't care who they mow over or what relationships they damage. They have to be 100% right. And so they have to, it's always a one-up game. So they have to be one up. So in order to be one up, somebody has to be one down. In a healthy, normal relationship, there is no one up, one down. There's a partnership. It's a partnership, you know? So when you're dealing with an abuser, they will gaslight. They will rewrite history. They will tell you you're wrong. They will insist that they are right. They will never see your point of view. In a healthy relationship, there's always 2 points of view. And each person is striving to understand the other person's point of view. You're always like, okay, well, let me understand where you're coming from so I get it. Okay, that's in a healthy, normal relationship. In an unhealthy relationship, it's always my view and you're wrong. So you don't want that. So that's how you know you're not the abuser, is that you're questioning. And you're not flipping reality. Trust your gut. Ask your gut. What does your gut tell you? Does your gut tell you that you're right, or that your reality, your perception is exactly what you're feeling? This is the thing that abusers do, is that they negate everyone's perception except their own. They say things like, you know, well, no, you're wrong, and this is what really happened, and you know, you're crazy, and blah, 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 you know, stuff like that. So if they're throwing stuff like that at you, get out, it's abusive, get out. All right, do you have clients that have tried trauma release experience, and is it helpful in the aftermath of traumatic relationships? I don't know what trauma release experience is. I don't. I have clients that do EMDR. I have clients that do EFT. I've had one client that did faster EFT, and he had amazing results with it. However, there's been a lot of controversy about the faster EFT, so really read up on it before you pursue it. Yeah, I don't know what that is. So relating back to the previous question, abusers will never admit that they don't know something. So yeah, if somebody is not willing to admit that they don't know something, then yeah, you're dealing with an abuser. I don't know what TRE is. I don't know what trauma release experience is. So I'd have to look into that and see what it is. And I have not had any clients try it, but I have had clients do EMDR, and I have had them do EFT, and I have had them do faster EFT. But again, with the faster EFT, really read up on it, because there is a lot of controversy around it. Some people say that it's that it can be very damaging, or it can be very too much kind of thing. So read up on it before you pursue it. But if you decide that's for you, then do it. I did have one client that did it, and he had great success with it. So there you go. Why is it so difficult for people to understand what we went through with the narcissist? All you get are puzzled looks like you are the crazy one. Okay, I posted a meme on this not too long ago. We all of us, every single human on the face of the planet, assume, which makes an ass out of you and me, that everyone thinks the way that we do. Okay? So if you're a good, kind-hearted person, you are going to assume that no one in your sphere of experience could possibly behave like a monster, because it's just outside of your realm of thinking. Okay? It's really hard to get people to understand unless they have either been in the relationship themselves, or they have witnessed it. They've witnessed somebody they love being abused. It's really hard to get them to see it. Now, the other complication that you've got going on. So think of it this way. This is a good question. Think of it this way. So we, as abuse survivors, have a hard time ourselves wrapping our head around it, right? The fog, the fear, the obligation, and the guilt. We just, you know, oh, it must be us, it must be us, it must be us, you know, that kind of thing. We keep giving the abuser passes. We keep giving them excuses. We keep doing this. So it's hard for us to come to the conclusion that we're being abused. It's hard for other people to figure it out, because, I'm going to blow your mind here, the reason that when we assume, we all do, every single human on the face of the planet assumes that everybody has the same moral code we do, or that thinks the way that we do, or would behave the way that we do. And we tend to surround ourselves with people that are healthy, happy, and whole if we are healthy, happy, and whole. So we assume that other people are going to play fair. We assume that other people are going to feel. We assume that other people are going to be empathic, okay? And so we project our goodness onto other people, just like abusers project their evilness onto other people. Mind blown. That is exactly what's going on. So the other complication we have too is flying monkeys, okay? Flying monkeys are minor narcissists themselves, and they align themselves with the major narcissists. So you may be dealing with a bunch of minor narcissists, okay? It is hard for people to understand if they have not done the psychology worked through all of these, thousands and thousands of research papers, understood what's going on, understood that you can have an abuser that mimics real emotion. So that's what psychopaths do. They mimic real emotion, and they can slide through society. And, it's The Psychopath Next Door. It's that great book, The Psychopath Next Door. They can slide through society and not be caught until their behavior becomes so egregious that they get caught. But, yeah, it's hard for people to understand. Now, here's the deal. If the family and the friends are really family and friends, if they are really your tribe, they will start reading up on this stuff to understand where you are coming from. If they are minor narcissists, they will not. Does that make sense? So you may be dealing with a minor narcissist. You may be dealing with somebody who is in alignment with the abuser. And yes, it is hard for people to wrap their heads around this. It really is. It's inconceivable, really, truly, that anybody could act like that. It is inconceivable that somebody thinks it's okay to put somebody down, harm them, hit them, call them names, make sure their children can't come around, make sure that their family and friends are isolated from them. It's inconceivable. You can't imagine doing that to somebody. So it is really hard to explain to the outside world what's going on. And here's the deal. Once you start speaking up about it, if they don't believe you, if they're unwilling to go educate themselves on it, then they are not your tribe. Be done. So I hope that answered that question. Okay. Yeah, you are going to feel like the crazy one because the narcissist has already set it up that you are the crazy one. They've already done the smear campaign long before you figured out that they're abusive in doing this. So, people are going to think what they're going to think. And here's the deal. Your tribe will have your back. Your tribe will support you. If they're supporting the abuser, they're not your tribe. Get rid of them. All right, last question. Do all abusers keep you up and sleep deprive you? No, they don't. Mine didn't do that, but had many other traits. I get worried that I may have made a mistake. Nope. Here's the deal. Every abuser has their own particular peccadillo, okay? Some are the ragers that do the night screaming and the slamming and the you need to do this and you need to do that and why don't you do this and you're a terrible person and I hate your children and blah, 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 blah. Some are like that. Some do that. Other abusers are covert, meaning hidden. So what they do is they do the whispering in the ear. They do the little nasty little stuff in the ear. It's like Worm Tongue from Lord of the Rings, sitting at the side of the King of Rohan, feeding him bullshit and making him sick. That's exactly what covert abusers do. So no, not every single abuser is out front, abusing, hitting, humiliating in public, screaming, keeping up at night. No, some of them are very covert, meaning that they're just, slipping negative stuff in every chance they can get and poisoning the target's mind, basically. So yeah, no, not every single abuser is going to keep you up at night. They're not. A lot of them do, because a tired target is a more malleable target. So that's why they do that, is to try to keep the person in a constant state of fear, in a constant state of no sleep, in a constant state of malleability so that they can mold them to however they want. So, but no, not all abusers do that. Other abusers, the covert abusers, they will go after your finances. They will keep you from getting a job. They will prevent you from working. They'll sell the cars. They'll isolate you so that you're at home with kids. They'll tell you how worthless you are. They'll not pay any attention to you. They'll, do passive-aggressive stuff, letting you know that you're not worth their time. So abuse comes in many forms. It really, truly does. And just because they didn't slam doors and scream at you at night does not mean that they were not abusive. If they had other abusive traits, if you felt you were being abused, then guess what? You were being abused. Trust your gut. Trust your gut. Do not listen to your head. Do not listen to your heart. These two will tell you stories and steer you wrong. And they will do the whole, well, yes, but, da-da-da-da-da-da, and go off on a tangent. The gut is a yes or no answer to a question. Did you do the right thing? Yes or no? Quick. Did you do the right thing? Yes or no? It's the gut. Listen to the gut. Do not listen to the head or the heart. It will always steer you wrong. The gut never does. So I hope that answered that question. Okay. All right. So I think those are all the questions from last week. So again, Remember, I am going to be on tour in California the first week of February, and then I will be in New Orleans on the 23rd, and then doing the cruise in December on the 4th. So if you are interested in attending any and or all of these of these things, please do go sign up at Mercury Eventbrite. The tickets are going. There is limited space. Like I said, I've already got people signing up for the cruise and for New Orleans. So, and if you're coming to California, now would be the time to get your tickets because there is limited space. All right, so there is that. Also, if you know anybody that would benefit from these videos, please share them. Please share them with anybody that is being abused, you think is being abused, that you think would benefit. Do it, do it, do it. If you can get them to come to one of the lectures, that would be great. All right, that's it. Okay, I think I'm going to stop. So you guys have a great day, and I will talk to you later. Bye.